Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. It seems that you've caught me playing with Diceself. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is, whether you in the world, it is your Lord and Saviour, with episode 7 of Season 3 of the Playing With Diceself podcast, where the sad British goth boy plays TTRPGs by himself, the TTRPG in question being Cyberpunk RED, the role-playing game of the dark future. And unlike previous seasons, where we have used homebrew rules of my own creation, we are mostly using single-player mode, the official rules for playing solo Cyberpunk RED and 2020 with a bit of brain and legwork. And this is a review copy that's been sent to us by Aurtakis Storyteller, the creators of Cyberpunk RED and 2020 and 2013. So anyway, thank you ever so much. We've been having a lot of fun with that, and there'll be a review of this book fairly soon, so keep your eyeballs peeled for that. But what happened in the previous episode? Well, we managed to escape the whole fucked shit storm that happened in Hayward Docks that we mostly caused, because we managed to escape with our media, whose name I have completely fucking forgotten. Jolene, that is it, Jolene, our media, otherwise known by their handle TarotGlow, and we're going to form a bit of an action plan to take the fight to Kang Tao, or at the very least try and remove the borged up Edgerunner AlphaHound, so it makes those negotiations just a wee bit more fucking difficult. Well, that's the idea anyway, but with anybody who has any experience with Cyberpunk, you already know that the odds are not in our favour. But that's okay, because we managed to acquire some non-binary poontanks. We managed to go on a date in old Japantown with Morgan, our netrunner, whose handle up until this point has been Bullet Speed, because they're really good and hard and fast. Now, Buster Joy and Bullet Speed went out on a karaoke date in old Japantown. Well, it ended up being a kind of a weird date, all thanks to the romancing DLC on our Tellsoaring Games' website, where basically we found out that Morgan's actually had quite a bit of experience with dating, and they were actually sold on from their family to Kang Tao to pay off some very nasty debt, which isn't very family-like at all, honestly, and it made Butterjoy a bit pissed off. But it did end on a good note, because we all get a little call again to go on a date part 2, and we ended with a little kiss, and hopefully, from how horny they were from the roles that we made in the previous episode, we'll be getting quite a lot more action. But from one set of action to the next, I think we should talk a little bit about experience points. And on the one hand, we covered quite a lot of world building personality stuff and character motivations and the like. When it actually comes to playing the game proper, there wasn't really there wasn't a lot of action, so to speak. There are very little dice rolls here and there, just a couple here and there, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's going to be warranted that we give ourselves a lot of EXP, even though I feel that in most traditional sessions, if you go through an entire thing without doing a single dice roll and just all done with roleplay, I think that'd be a pretty good thing. But Cyberpunk RED has a very particular way of dealing with its improvement points, and I don't quite like that all that much. But in the spirit of fairness, I will just give myself 20. I would crack open the book and try and justify those 20 points, but I'm not going to with this. So we're now up to, from what I can read from my messy handwriting, 81 improvement points. So without further ado, I think we should get cracked in with the episode and actually work out the gig that Jolene has managed to find for us, because whilst we're on a date, they're going to call up their contacts and their associates and etc. so forth, probably some fixer, some description, and we're going to try and find out how we're going to get a bit closer to AlphaHound, whether it's going to be disturbing an operation and bringing the Hound out to us, or it's going to be going to the Hound directly. I suppose that's actually a really great way to start the assembling of this gig, because it could be the fact that this fixer owes Jolene a favour. It's like, okay, fine, I can get you in there, this is what you need to do, so to speak. Or they have the bits and pieces to get inside, and then we're being relayed the information via Jolene, TarotGlow. Or it could be the fact that we have to do something first to gain the trust and then make the move. So I think this is just going to be like a simple 50-50 split, honestly, because I can't really think of any much reason to make it any more complicated at the moment. So with a 50-50 roll with a D100 die, I think that the yes side of things when we roll is going to be, yes, we're going to be going straight towards Kang Tao and or AlphaHound. So let's see what happens. We've got 82, which lands us on a yes. This is the gig that's going to get us in there, that we are going to be mixing with these individuals, which I'm just realising with shaved head, cunt. That might prove to be a little difficult, because that's kind of a stick-out sign, I suppose. But as I'm doing this, I think being there as like a musician, like we are the hired entertainment, might actually be a good means of distraction. But yeah, let's just see what the art can give us with some of these job generating roles in the table. So what page would that be? I forget these things. Generation missions and plots. I think that's the sort of table that we're looking for on page 72. This may point me towards the actual core book. Mission type. Okay, yeah, let's just work our way through and see what sort of things we get inspired about. And of course, we don't have to take things at face value. We can bend and twist things to our liking. So let us roll a D100. Fucking hell, we land on a 1, which gives us attend event. Holy fucking shit. Like, I think I've mentioned this before, but like, it's so unusual with the D100 to get like 100 or 1. Wow. But yeah, attend event, that actually makes a lot of sense to everything we've been talking about so far. Like, you know, the conversation between Arasaka and Kang Tao is going to be a bit secretive, like this very high-end secretive sort of thing. It's all very high-end and glamour. You know, everyone's all chromed and borged up the wazoo. Yeah, I think with that in mind, but moving on to the mission item / MacGuffin's table, I'm not going to bother rolling on that one because we kind of know what we're dealing with here. This is a corporate / high-tech stuff, but we are going to move down to the bottom one and roll a d10 to see if we can use that as like a means of getting in, or, you know, to see what we can come up with that roll. Okay, so a 7 gives us a luxury vehicle. Okay, well, this is going to be us getting in, this fixer or whatever. We're not taking the Militech car, we're being escorted with some like other high-end fancy car, and I think there might be something in black chrome that might be able to help us with that. We're being picked up and we're going to be taken to some sort of location, which again I'll work out later on. All going to be suited and booted, so we'll like be mock-up guest ID sort of thing. Well, what else is going to be? Do I do the random beat chart? No, I'm going to go back one to the mission type table to see if I can like add to it. So there's a sort of an event that's going on. Yeah, but what we're going to do, what's going to happen? 53 gives us the result, plant, bug, or surveillance device. Well, that makes a lot of fucking sense with the media involved, that we're going in there and we're going to have to sneak in, or with a droid or something, like, and plug a device so we can listen in on a particular high-end conversation and just expose to Night City that Arasaka's back in town and they're not supposed to be. Which is a pretty fucking risky thing, I have to say, just like going to the top fucking cheese, as it were. This is actually really fucking cool. I love the fact that this has taken a sort of an espionage turn. I think I said in one of the earlier episodes that I was expecting it to go this way, but yet it's happening. And I'm not expecting it. So going in with a party, all dressed and suited and booted, I think we're all going to be splitting off and doing certain things. And the fact that Morgan Bullet Speed is going to be there is going to be very risky as well. It's very risky for all of us. We're all being looked for at the moment, but clearly something has happened so we can like blend in fairly well. I'm going to go to my original idea that I'm going to be providing the entertainment. I being with Butterjoy. Media's going to go off and do one thing. The Netrunner's going to go and do something else. Let's go back to the mission type and see what the Netrunner is specifically going to do. I suspect that they're going to be working fairly closely with TarotGlow, so they can, able to get in with this bit of information, like to plant the bug or whatever. Let's just roll and see what Morgan's going to be doing. That is a 39 intercept target with their hacking. Well, surveillance stuff. Probably hacking the cameras through the architecture, like making sure that nobody is taking them out. Maybe using any of the security devices and whatnot to take them out. And just as like I did with a previous episode, I won't be going through like the whole net running architecture thing, because I'm just going to like determine that with a simple roll and just move the plot forward, I think. So I'm going to be bending some of the rules here, which I know is a purist thing, like not many people are going to like that, but as they're an NPC and it's important to keep the plot flying with something that's going to be as convoluted as this. So, that actually seems like a really straightforward sort of thing, honestly. So, which then begs the question. First of all, we're going to deal with the car that we are going to be dealing with. And I looked over there because my copy of Black Chrome is up there. So, I'm going to see what sort of vehicle is going to make sense for us to go in there. I might roll on a D12 or whatever dice I said it was last time. Or, I've just seen a big old fucking bus that might be appropriate, like a musician sort of thing. Actually, I'm actually going to go with that. I'm going to put it on screen, the Tetracore America Badger Corporate Bus. It's a high-end shuttle designed with corporate world in mind. Constructive and durable polymers. The Badger is a secure vehicle perfect for protecting corporate assets. The bus's interior feels more like a boardroom than a transport vehicle, complete with synthetic walnut table and black fox leather seating. Ooh, real fancy. Holographic projectors on the walls project a tasteful office setting of the boardroom back at HQ, giving an air of legitimacy. It's a compact ground car with a heavy chassis, armoured chassis, bullet glass, security upgrade, and 4 seating upgrades. Each person comes with a Drinkmaster 3000 and 2 Killstrom Banshee microphones. Okay, so the way that I'm envisioning that, this is going to be like some big old fucking luxury sweet mansion sort of thing, and we're DJ doing our stuff outside. We got the mic, an amp. Our role is fairly simple. It's the NPCs that are going to be doing all the fucking legwork. Okay, so we've got a big old boss that's going to be taking us. Where, though? And I think that is going to be determined rather nicely by rolling on the locations and the book. We'll just roll on the Night City district, and then we can just, like, flesh out the scenario a bit more from there. So this is another... Okay, that was weird. Another D100 roll, so let's crack this open. See what we get. 17... Charter Hill. And again, I'm going to have to pen through the actual atlas because there's no page numbers. Yes, I am still pretty salty about that Artaxorium Games! Charter Hills. Now, where would that be? If memory serves, Charter Hills is like in the top... Like, if we see it as like a clock face, I think it's like 1 or 2 o'clock-ish. Like, Charter Hills, I think, is like a really fucking fancy place. Actually, now I think about it, there is actually a map in here that I can refer to somewhere.
Abracalator.
I was right, it's in the executive zone at like 2 o'clock. Wow, I know Night City better than my own town at this point. Yeah, that's real fucking fancy shit, but we're going to see what it's like in the red setting. Just so I had a bit more of an understanding and can design things around that properly. I don't think I conveyed that very well. A small but influential community. On a clear day, the residents of Charter Hill can see the walls of the executive zone and dream of climbing even higher on the corporate ladder. Okay, so it's not quite fancy, but it's fancy-ish. It's middle class. Charter Hill locations. There are 4 locations here, and I think I'm actually going to roll on a D4 because I think that'll be interesting just to like work out. I think that'd be a bit of fun, just to spice things up a little bit. I'll use the first D4 that I see, and I think I got my little rubbery bisexual D4, very appropriate for our character as well. So let us roll and see what we get, and see if that helps us to come up with the sort of venue. That is a 3. To merge a high-end apartment complex. Most of the units are rented on a short-term basis by execs in our city for a prolonged period of time. Whilst it makes sense, it's like a No, I'm not vibing that one. It does, like, this is going to be like a big fucking open place, and I haven't really looked at the places either. That's a free again. Right, I'm going to roll one more time, and if it's not, and if it's a free, I will just accept it. One on the floor. Just as well, because that landed on a free as well. Come on, you swine! 2. The Bella Mia, a club where the affluent and most fashionable residents of Night City go to be seen. That makes sense. We're not doing this as a bit. I mean, I imagine there's probably like an outdoor bit somewhere, I guess. My Night City, there's a big old outdoor bit. There's like people coming and going. This is a big fucking event, you know, very high fancy stuff, business people, lots of influential people going to be there, which is actually a really fucking good opportunity for Butterjoy to be doing their thing on the decks, just like doing all their set and the rest of their like groovy barber beats, having something a bit more that's upbeat and more translate like music to snort coke to. Now that is an album title. That's the album title! I was hoping it was going to be something a bit more political, but fuck it. Music to snort coke to. Man, I fucking love solo role-playing. So having just put my handouts away, I've brought them back over because I actually want to roll up the weather of the gig itself, just to paint the setting a bit more. And I like rolling these weather tables. I think they're pretty cool, useful things to have at any solo setting. And also a more generic one as well, like traditional, I should say. And I think also we should refer to the Oracle here and question like how many days have passed, if a certain number of days have passed at all, because I think it's like near certain, which I'm wording very specifically here because it's one of the probabilities thing here, that like some number of days has passed, so like the fixer and whatnot can like work out, you know, getting all this fucking expensive gear over, etc. and so forth. So take our D100 and we're going to roll and see what it's going to be. I'm going to be rolling on certain, in case that wasn't clear enough. 82, so that grants us, yes, it's the number of days have passed. So I'm going to roll a D10. 6, so not even a week. So we're going to be doing this big old fancy gig at Bella Mia, not Bella Air as they just called it. And I've just noticed on the game's president, one of them is the Tiger Claws, who are funded by, well, not funded, but they use a lot by Arasaka, so that makes quite a bit of sense here. It's all coming together, it's all coming together. But you've also got the Tombstone Preservers and the Primetime Players, but I'm just going to omit them for the time being, unless something spicy comes up. Security provider is Militech, who are the enemies of sort of Arasaka. So, yeah, let us roll on the fucking weather tables. And like 6 days have passed, we said it was like late November. Let's say now that it's December, like early December. And we take a D6, I'm going to roll on that to see what the temperature is. It's number 4, about 10 degrees, which is cool, apparently. And the current conditions is a 4. Overcast, which being night time, I'm assuming all of this is going down. That doesn't really matter too much. So it's not raining or anything, but pleasantries aside, we arrive in a big fucking bus, all in our smart ass like luminant shirts and things. And I think that TarotGlow and Bullet Speed are like dressed up nice and fancy. But I think it would make sense that they like serve as my my roadies, as it were. But it also makes sense they may just be masquerading, as it were, as like other guests, not wanting to stand out too much. But it may make sense as they're appearing as roadies tech people, so they can like infiltrate things a bit better. Who knows? Let's take it to the Oracle. I think it makes more sense, honestly, now that I thought all that through, that they're not serving as my roadies, that I'm just taking the bus and they're just going to like hop out in the back, being discreet as they can. So let's just roll. 24, likely being that they're not my roadies, is no, with a complication. So they are appearing as my roadies. Well, I think the complication is quite simply that we come out, you drive to this big old fat club, like people beginning to move out because it's been hired out for like the specific times, and there's other these rich celebrities about. I suspect that Jolene was like pointing out, like highlighting really important people. Is AlphaHound out here already? Interesting question. I'm going to say it's as likely that he is not, because it might just scare people away. But then again, he is like the big fucking vocal piece, like the thing that's connecting the two of them together in our iteration of Night City. I'm going to go with 50-50, because both seem just as likely as each other, honestly. So yes, Bean, he's out there. 2. I'm not going to roll a 3 with a T100. So no, he ain't out front. Is he inside? Again, I'm going to go with 50-50. 34. That is complicated. No, yes or no, but that is just flat out complicated. Which makes me think that despite what I rolled a moment ago... Oh. So going back to the first complication I wrote about the group serving as my roadies. The idea that I was thinking that security was going to say... it's going to try and stop us because those two weren't accounted for, or they didn't recognise them. Like, that sort of typical thing. The security is AlphaHound. Of course he would be. Like, we're trying to get into the back, this big old bus, you know, it's all been decorated like Butterjoy, you know, all the different bisexual colour, or iconography and the rest of it. Just going through the plans one more time. I'm just to basically do my fucking job, keep an eye on people. I think we've just kind of established that we've got like an agent earpiece now, I guess, which I should probably edit on my character sheet at some point, but fuck it, we've just been kind of playing all the way through that the agent's been in our fucking head anyway, so whatever. So all going to be talking to each other through different means, walkie-talkies or earpieces or whatever, but we've got the earpiece, we've got the agent in our head, and we're getting out like moving decks and whatnot, going to be happening. I'm just like really playing up into the part, and we'll just be turning around to take things through, and there's going to be AlphaHound, all this bulged up militaristic sort of thing. And not to rip off Adam Smasher too much. I mean, Adam Smasher is like big and bulky, he's really fast, and we know a little bit of what he looks like from the 2020 and 77 materials, both the video games and the books. But I don't want him to be like a bit as big and balled up as that. I actually want something that was a bit more sleeker and faster. And I don't know how to deal with the borged up stuff at the moment, because I don't think there's any of the DLC that covers that. I think it's in one of the books somewhere that I would probably need to dig out at some point. It might even be in fucking Black Chrome that I can just fiddle around with, but we'll deal with that when we actually get into the combat, because this isn't what the combat scenario, hopefully. So we get out, we're doing it best, and he's just going to turn around and said, "Who the fuck are these cunts?" And we're just going to turn around to, like, oh, they're my roadies are looking up and down, and how fucking tall is he? Because I imagine Butterjoy is about like 6 foot. I'm just gonna roll on the D10 to see how. No, I'm gonna roll on the D6 just to see how many more inches is he taller. 3, so he's like 6'3", so it's a bit on the taller side. Then my roadies, they're just like moving all the fucking equipment. They're just moving all the equipment. Then my roadies, they're just moving all the gear and stuff in. Why don't I recognise them? I don't know, but they've got passes. Like, just get the fucking passes. Like, they're trying to like fiddle with their back pockets, like trying not to shit themselves here. Like, they hand it over to AlphaHound with his like big metal claw hands, that grabs it, has a look whatever the fucking card would be presented, and maybe it's like a little hologram screen sort of thing. He looks over it. He looks over the two of them. And who the fuck are you pretending to be? I'm not pretending to be anyone. I'm Butterjoy. I'm going to be the entertainment. You sure will be. And he shoves the thing back into their face, and he begins to walk off, doing like a patrol, whatever, and he'll just stop, like pokes him really hard on the fucking chest, like, "I've got my eye on you." Fucking puff, and he'll just stomp off, all aggressive and nasty. Wow, what a dick. What the fuck you doing? Says Jolene. Just, never meet your heroes, they say. He ain't the same guy anymore. Yeah, I know. Just fucking go if he changes his mind. And they just quickly hurry on and start doing the best they can. Like, staff are cleaning up the bits and pieces. I noticed it was night. I think it's like makes sense. Like, I was like, dusk, twilight sort of thing, so like 3:30 in the afternoon. uh, so we're moving in. I actually, with the whole time of the red thing, I imagine it's like a very much more purpley sky, just with the natural aura, as it were, that's up in the sky. Like people beginning to like clean up, move things about, like preparing for the onslaught of celebrities and business people that are going to be coming in. And we're sort of looking around. I'm going to roll on some sites here. Is it sites that I'm looking for? I think sites are just more like generic bits as we're moving about. So we are just going to do with the adjectives table, I think. Actually, I'm going to briefly look at the random events table for corporate stuff. Also on page 78. Just glance through that and see if anything provides some inspiration. I was going to roll on the adjective tables first, but I've just flicked through with the corporate/executive threat rating at night. I'm just going to see if there's like anything here that might not be like a thing that we go and like try and stop anything, just something that just like gives us a bit of like setting dressing to work and bend a little bit. So D100, 100. What is the fucking up with these like polarizing fucking D100 things today? Oh, that's nice. Up above, one AV crashes into another. Wow, that's not threatening at all. Now, as we're sort of moving in, we hear this fucking huge explosion. We turn up and there's some screams and panics and whatnot. I'm just trying to, as this sort of thing happens, this might actually really ruin this fucking gig. Bit of a spicy choice, I know, but I'm gonna roll just to see how was it close. I mean, metagaming here, I don't want this to be like right on our fucking doorstep. Obviously it's close enough and it's going to be loud enough for us to be heard, and it could be something else that's going on. Let's say it's likely that it's far away, that it's not going to affect the night tonight, although it is going to make things potentially a bit more cautious now. We'll see. 31, which gives us, it's complicated. Which makes me think no one's got a fucking clue how far it is, but the security is going to be upped a bit more because of this. Which is fair, so we don't know, basically. Yeah, great. And I think that is something that Jolene TarotGlow is going to like just say, great, that's the last thing that we fucking need. It's okay, it's cool. How this fucking cool? It's going to make things so much fucking harder for us now. Look, give it 10 minutes into the party and they'll all fucking forget about it. Security included. Trust me, they're just going to be lost in the music, man. Like, do you ever take anything fucking seriously? Well, why are you being such a bitch again? Jesus. And he just, imagine with that, just Bullet Joy just like saunters in. Joni's like, looks at Morgan and is like, the fuck? I think he's kind of cute. Shut up. So let us see now with an adjectives roll or two, or several, to see what we can get. We might get some smells as well. Okay, sounds would have actually done a good job, actually. Yeah, let's just see. Let's do the sounds first, and then some actually, fuck that. Let's do sight, sound, and smells, and see to give us a bit of an idea of what we're expecting when we're going inside. Obviously not much music, because we are the music. We've got 7, okay, for sights. An alley strewn with scrap and trash. Which I'm going to suggest that this is actually kind of messy inside. I imagine it being quite a high-end fancy thing, but clearly there's a lot of stuff that's needed to be cleaned up at the moment. Like executive managers like shouting like, hurry up, they're all arriving here early, blah 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 sort of thing. Sounds 88, a grounding engine revving aggressively, probably big fancy vehicles parking in outside, maybe more Night City Cop themes that are flying over, dealing with the fucking crash that's just happened outside. It's very easy just to bend all these themes when you've got like the scenario of the context. And smells 44. Wow, 88 and 44, fucking hell. Some of these dice rolls are fucking weird. Synthetic perfume, strong and artificial. Yeah, and I imagine this is just one person's job and it's like making the place smell nice and fancy because it smells like, well, shit. Figuratively and literally, yeah, pick a poison. So, I think with that, like, Butteridge to take this big fucking sniff of air and just, like, feeling that it's at home and perhaps that realisation that this is the biggest fucking gig that he's done. But he's in his element, yeah, this is where he's supposed to be, you know, on the stage performing to loads of fucking people. And he's going to get paid a lot of money for this, I reckon. Or at least that's what he's thinking about anyway. I don't know how much everyone's going to be paid for this favour, I guess. Do this, that, and the other, because obviously we're doing this for a fixer, so we're obviously going to be in there collecting some information for them, which I hadn't actually decided. But we can get to that when we get to it. So I'm going to be paying for our troubles, and it's just like two birds with one stone sort of thing, it may hap. But yeah, so general cleanup stuff, but I'm still going to roll on the adjectives table, just to see if we can like fine-tune things down a bit more, and perhaps get the other two to look around for like entry points. I can go into like some back rooms or offices or some shit. Also, I don't know if this is like a multi-floor club sort of thing. I'm going to roll on a d6 and see if we can work out how many floors or rooms it's got. Oh, one. Never mind. So it's all one story sort of thing, so like the other offices around. So actually, increased security aside, it's not going to be like us exploring like a huge mega complex. There might be just some other rooms for us to go and explore. Excluding toilets, how many rooms are there? 5. Okay, well, that's a fairly big thing to go and explore, I guess, for our NPCs. But anyway, let's roll on some adjectives to see if we can like paint this world a bit more. 44 again. Wow. Hacked. That's a fucking hacked ass attempt. Again. And 60. Hacked. Obsolete. Well, if I take that literally, it would probably mean that we can't hack here, or hacking's not going to work. But this is the fucking Cyberpunk saying, of course hacking's going to work. You know what, I'm just going to take that as a general read. Things like the two are setting up their gear thing, like Butterjoy maybe might speaking like to them close to their ear rather than through an interface. Probably because yeah, they've already increased their security around here. They're not taking any chances with that AV that's going overhead. Great. Yeah, that's some confirmation that I didn't want to do with a certain role like that, but never mind. Let's do another adjective roll and see how I could chance my lucks. 67. Pulsing. I'm immediately thinking of the lights here. 83. Shimmering. Yeah, pulsing, shivering. Yeah, that's to do with the light. Maybe we're just like fitting with like some lights or whatever, or like light crew, whatever the Butterjoy is like trying to convey a certain vibe. I'm actually going to do a certain check for this, a persuasion thing, because I imagine that the club's got like a very specific thing in mind, but him like fueling his arrogant ego a little bit, like he wants, and this is like his moment to shine as a DJ, because even though he likes the Edgerunner life, he's far more money-centric arsehole. He's going to like try and convince the tech guy that no, you need to do the lights a certain way to get the certain feel or vibe. I'm going to say this is difficult, or like the DV of 15. I think any more than that is just a bit silly, but he's like being real fucking brash about it, maybe like a bit arrogant, like putting people back up or whatever. So I'm going to say this is alright. So yeah, DV 15. Let's see what we get. 4, which lands us on 15 exactly, and I think the dude's a bit reluctant about it. Like, yeah, sure, we'll do the lights this way. He like talks a little bit through the thing, like, thank you, like, based, real preem. Sorry, got to get my lingo right. And goes back and he explains his good news. Like, I'm really glad that you're having a fun time, but do fucking remember what we're here to be doing. Like, yeah, I know. Like, I want to make it look fucking good, so people don't think, oh, what the fuck is this DJ here fucking shit? I want people to think that we're good, you know? Fucking hell. Priorities. We're here to tear two fucking companies apart. I don't want you being a fucking jackass ruining it. Right. Sorry, as I said, I'm just trying to do my part the best I can. And in order for me to do that, I've got to make sure everything looks alright. Honestly, just don't get the creative spirit. He just sort of like saunters off, like setting up his laptop and his decks or whatever, and Jolene just rolls their eyes a bit more. Morgan just sort of leans in a little bit. Yeah, I know it's a bit frustrating, but he's got a point. Because if he's bad, he's going to kick the whole crew out. So come on, he's got to do his part here. Yeah, I know. I just can't believe that somebody like this wants to do something so fucking seriously, and he's just so fucking self-centered. I don't think he's self-centered. A bit biased, but fine. So things are setting up. We're going to move forward the time a little bit now as people beginning to like enter in. Like drinks are being served, drugs being done in toilets, maybe someone's being like fucking blasted down an alleyway, both sex and quite literally bang bang. To that end, we're going to do a plain instrument roll to see if we can, you know, put on this fucking banger set. I can't see this being like a terribly difficult thing for us. Maybe a bit of nerves. I'll make this 14, you know, just looking at the difficulty values on the GM screen here, which I have set up on my desk. A bit of nerves, but this isn't too difficult for him. You know, this is a professional thing, you know, there's a bit of pressure, I guess, whatever. But yeah, let's see what we get. 9. Okay, we're on a fucking roll here. Like, I'm trying to think how long this well, we're going to be doing this thing all through the night. I'm going to do a few of these rolls just to, like, get the whole vibe, and we'll get onto a great start, like, real pounding fucking shit, like music to snort coke to. And I imagine he's got his audio suite thing on, he's recording everything, uploading it to the data pool, putting on this really fucking great sort of gig, you know, all that sort of dancing, really his fucking element. His tech hair is just going fucking wild. Even though he's got cunt written in his head in kanji in front of a load of Japanese people who could kill him in a sneeze. But whatever he's doing, his thing, it's vibing, it's working really well. Okay, let's do the second track here and see what we've got. And I think because of how well we did, I'm going to knock it down by 1, down to everyday. Like, he's in his stride now, he's not feeling as nervous, he could do a fucking fat line himself. And I think, given the chance, he would. Which I actually decided on an oracle roll in a moment. So, let us see. Oh, fucking hell, that was a 10, let's fucking go! And a 9! Yeah, he's real fucking vibing it. Like, even the people there who don't know that this whole gig thing is like as a masquerading as a very important business detail, everyone's fucking vibing. I think even at this point, AlphaHound is like sort of bobbing his head a little bit. And I'll do one more roll just to carry us on through to the rest of the night. Maybe these aren't like reflecting like track by track, maybe like groups of 3s or 2s or whatever, or I don't fucking know, but you know, just a general like the beginning, the mid, and then the climax, wherever shit all hits the fan or we're leaving. I think that's a great way of doing that. I think with the 10 now, we now drop this down to 10. The 10 and the 9, I think. Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing that. Another 10! Let's fucking go! And another 10! Wow! Okay. Holy fucking shit. Wow. Yeah, we're doing it. I imagine that at this point, I imagine it's like a race stage sort of thing as us doing our thing. Like, people are like dancing and jiving along sort of thing, like in a little moment sort of thing. I actually think... No, I'm going to do this with a table thing so I don't get too carried away and break character too much. He is arrogant, proud, and aloof. And I think with people that come onto the stage, like some very attractive women, and guys, of course, because he's bisexual after all, get on the stuff, all bears bits of chrome around them, gyrating against each other, and I think there's going to be like a couple that try and get around him. And is he going to try his luck? Or, like, if anything, get a bit touchy with him, he's going to be a bit touchy back. I'm going to do this as a fair 50-50, because I think that him just being lost in the moment, him being somewhat of a slut in the moment, I think, like, just going through like the rush of it all, I think he may just, like, give in to temptation. So let's see what happens here with this sort of roll. 64. I would have laughed if it was fucking 69 again. Yes, okay, he's going to be a bit handsy with people as he can, probably a bit of a tongued kiss here and there, getting real passionate with like some chromed up people, like all the rest of it, ass and tits, you know. I think at this point, I think he will like probably have something to drink. Does he do some drugs on the set? I honestly think it's really fucking likely, just because of how cocky he's been at the moment. Yeah, let's just say that it's likely, and then we can go through Red and see what fucking things he's snorting. 15. No. He does not do drugs and drinking. That's just the fine fucking line. He will not do drugs whilst he's performing. He wants to be clear of mind. Actually, because we have acknowledged we have things, I think that does count like some form of intoxication. There must be something. You can, because, yeah, there is. Let's see what we can find in the book. Resist torture / drugs test. And it lists alcohol as a mild drug for a DV rating of 11. And its effect is inebriation, or however the word's pronounced. It's basically a fancy word of getting drunk. Now, it doesn't mention in the book about the sort of effect that has on the character, which I think it makes sense that everything has like a +2 modifier, I suppose. So I would roll over resist, torture / drugs DV, but we don't actually have that on the character sheet, and I don't actually think that is something that we actually get at character creation, because remember we had the Edgerunner method, which gives us the stats that we need to put in, which I had missed quite a few out, as you may recall. So it's quite likely that I've missed some here and there. No, it's not one that I missed out, so we don't actually have that at all. So with DV11, we're just rolling our willpower, which is 6. It doesn't put the odds in our favour, and I'm not going to roll luck. I'm not going to add my luck points to this either, just because of how fucking cocky and aloof he is being. Do you quote the sheet? That I don't think he's going to be putting that effort of not being sober. Like, this is a really important moment for him and his character and everybody else now involved in his, you know, sort of romantic fling. And yet he's sort of being really self-indulgent about this, and I kind of like that we've got a character that's like this. So let's see if we can beat 11, otherwise we're going to get pissed for the rest of the night out. 4. Doesn't quite cut the mustard, unfortunately. So I will, narratively speaking, because it's just shy under, it will be at a +1 rather than +2. So he's not smashed, which is what I thought he was going to be. He's just a little bit tipsy. Getting a bit handsy. So we move away from all of that now. And we now focus on the real exciting stuff, our NPCs, what they're going to be doing. And we have TarotGlow stats on one bit of paper, and we have bullet speeds on another, who I designed in my NPC Quick Hack video, which is going to be on a card up there, which allows you to generate NPCs really fucking quickly without using a load of templates and just rolling a few dice within a few minutes. It's not that difficult at all. Now, TarotGlow did have the assault rifle that we claimed from the warehouse. I don't think they'd have that on their person, so we're just going to give them a heavy pistol. You know, them being a roadie, they want to try and have something that's a little bit concealed. We came through the back entrance because they're by the roadie crew. I don't think they'll be like scanned or whatever. So the two of them now have to be working together to be sneaking about. Now, we were going to decide whether it was going to be like a drone sort of thing that was going to be like moving people into place. Not wanting to pinch too much from 2077, but it could have been easily masqueraded in the form of like a trunk, like a load of gear or whatever that's like pushed underneath the set, as it were. So let's decide that, or they're going to have to do this in person. So I honestly think it's more likely that just to keep a low profile they wouldn't have this. So I'm actually going to say that it's likely that there's no droid involved. I guess I'm wrong, because that's 86, and yeah, they've got a fucking droid of some description with them. To which I'm going to refer to the core book to see if there's anything that could like some sort of like spidery sort of thing that we can have. A spider walker drone, I think that makes sense. I know they're typically quite big, but like this tiny little thing in a briefcase sort of thing, we can just go in a back room somewhere and just let's do a thing like crawling around on the ceilings, whatever. Which now makes me think that, again, unintentionally pinching from 2077, that this drone is going to be like there's multiple hackings going on, like the main cameras, and then operating this drone, like maybe not hacking because they're sort of like plugged into it, like taking off their goggles or whatever, so they can like do their little hacking, teching and whatnot. Alright, so they're just going to be hacking into the main system and like controlling this drone with some technical hand waving bollocks. So what are they going to have? They're going to have an observation camera, obviously, so they can see what we're doing. I think they're going to have a very heavy melee weapon, just for the whole low profile thing, because they start shooting people, that's not going to be any good. We are going to be dealing with the Netrunner first. I think we're going to be dealing with bullet speed, just because I think everything else will determine how well we're going to be able to be sneaking in. Now, the real fun thing with this is that they're serving as tech people, like somewhere within the near vicinity so they could see if anybody's following more Jolene. Which makes me think, are they in the same like main club space as Butterjoy? Because I think they're going to be pretty upset with the way that they're behaving on stage, even with them wanting to do the best they can. This is like taking the piss. It might seem a bit fucking obvious with them with their fucking goggles on, looking through the net space or whatever. So I think they might have hit them. I think it might make with their perfectionist thing. I think it would make more sense to them that they would have like hidden in a toilet or whatever and heard like noises of the night, sex, drug doing, whatever. So I'm gonna say that it's likely that Bullet Speed is hidden in a toilet. 56 gets us. Yes, that's just one try with yes of a complication, which is great, because they don't want any complication at this point. So they lock themselves into a toilet, they're able to operate this little drone. Maybe they took the thing in there, like they're just quickly just taking the thing into the toilet, which I'm actually going to do a roll for them to make sure if they weren't... No, I'm not going to do that because it was a yes. I would have rolled that if it was a yes of a complication. So they managed to get in with this briefcase or whatever. Maybe they untook the briefcase, picked up the little thing, concealed it, and like hurried along into the toilet, locked themselves in. Shut and lock the door, you know, perhaps squatting, like putting down the toilet seat. And they probably like set up the drone up the vents or something like that. And as they're doing this, I'm going to have them like do a generic combat number roll, I guess. Now, because their attention is divided, I'm actually going to make this a difficult thing for them. So it's going to be 15, but their combat number is 14. So unless they get a 1, they should really have little problem doing this. I got 5. Okay, we're in. So they managed to like quickly hack in. And again, I will mention I'm not doing the whole architecture thing. I'm just wanting to move the plot forward with the fucking NPCs. So this little thing is like moving up into the vent as they're now in the system, like doing whatever actual battling the different ice things and demons or whatever that they need to do, and moving downward into the architecture. What sort of security does this place have? Like, I know we said it was all like one floor, but like different rooms and whatnot would have like certain access, I think. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's fucking easy to determine, isn't it? We roll a d10, and obviously this would be like keyed to such a way that will be it will recognize the Arasaka and Kang Tao individuals, but nobody else. I'm going to roll on my D3 to see how many of these, because I don't think it makes a lot of sense to have like completely balked the wall. So the room that we're currently heading through with the little droid, how many traps does it have so we know how many times to roll on the table? 2. Okay, that's fair. So what's the first thing that they have? Electric flooring. This is a grid into substandard floor. When triggered, delivers a shocking D6 damage to the target's body, reduced by the arm, which doesn't ablate. Target shocked again until the end of the next turn, and each turn additional turns until they get off the flooring. That's pretty grim, but I do like that. That could be pretty useful. We're able to turn that against them. So I'll make another roll to see if we can gain access to that in a moment. But what's the other one that we get? A 6. Goop. This is a series of sprayers that when triggered stick goo around the feet and legs of the target, reducing the move by 2d6 until the goop is destroyed or otherwise escape the defense area. That's a rather fucking nasty combination. The goop and being electrocuted, like minimizing movement, which makes me think that Arasaka is there as like the leading party wanting to manipulate Kang Tao. So they're like, I don't know, positioned in such a way that they're not going to get electrocuted. And so if something bad happens, then Kang Tao are going to get all that fucking shit. Quite literally. And with a shocking end as well. To that end, I think we are now going to do a roll. We're going to do a series of rolls, actually. I'm going to roll for Bullet Speed to see whether they actually pick up on this. Like the difference in the floorings and whatever. And then we're going to roll to see if they're able to control both of these, have access to these systems, and then another one to act, and then also one for the audio comms as well. But I think that's part of the reason why the droid's there, so it's able to hear, because it would make sense that the observation camera I know it says observation, and I know that fucking Cyberpunk can be very fucking particular with its descriptions, but I think it would make a lot of sense if a droid like that didn't have like some sort of like audio processing stuff in there. Like that's how I'm interpreting things here, and this was given us so we can fucking spy on them. So, yeah, let us see. We have access to the electrical flooring. I'm going to say that this is a standard everyday difficulty thing. 3, we're in. We've got the electric flooring under control. The next one is 6. We've got the goop, and now it's to see if they notice like the flooring difference or whatever. I'm going to say this one is difficult because they probably like position the camera up in such a way so they can like look down at an optimal angle, like occasionally move around or whatever. So yeah, let's just see if they pick up on that. They rolled a 1 for that one. I thought it was difficult. Yeah, they have not noticed the difference here. Obviously, they know that the flooring's there, but I think that at any point that can just go and kill them both. So if need be, bullet speed may activate that, thinking that they're going to be taking out both of them. But they actually only end up taking out Kang Tao, which I suppose is ideal for us, I guess. So let us go to our various adjective tables on 34 and beyond to see if we can like work out the sort of things that they're talking about that we are now recording. In fact, before I do that, I want to do a roll to see if the droid is being hidden enough so they can't be seen, like a little spider thing like stuck in a corner. Because of how well we've done like bringing in so far, I can't see like it being a very obvious thing. But I'm just going to do like a standard roll for it in the spirit of fairness. It's like a stealth roll. 7, they're in. Nice. So the droid has not been seen by anybody yet. All these different Arasaka, Kang Tao, like different suits, different colour schemes, to easy to pick out which one is which. So let us roll on the adjective tables to determine what's going on. Verbs, nouns, and adjectives. We've got 89. Spot. Spotting an opportunity, perhaps. 73. Patch. Patch makes me think it's small, like a crack. This is Arasaka scolding Kang Tao. Perhaps with the thing that happened at the Hayward Docks. But there is still the issue of the Netrunner that's disappeared. They don't need the media like this. You know, we can easily deal with that nonsense. There's still the missing Netrunner. There is still the rocker boy that they have not found yet. He's just fucking performing on stage on their fucking turf. Which is, well, that's a thing now, I guess. In terms of like not knowing who they're dealing with here. So which makes me think that all it was being done by Satoshi. And he's dead now and didn't have any backups, whatever. So it's a bit fucking incompetent. So yeah, let's roll on adjectives. I'm going to roll the d10 again because it's not quite on the 8 and not quite on the 10. 5, so that's 85. Sleek. Okay. That then makes me think that they may be aware that there at least someone in the group is here, that they want them disposed of quickly and quietly. I mean, they must know. Like, they must know that Butterjoy is the one on the fucking stage right now. Surely. I'm going to do an oracle roll for that, and they probably know about the Netrunner. I think it's certain that everybody knows that we are performing on stage. But I'd be thinking very fucking funny if they don't know this. 4. Okay. No. They don't. I'm just, again, very fucking low numbers. They don't know. It's Butterjoy. We want this guy found. We want to remove quickly and swiftly. Do you know where he is? Like, no, he's like gone off the fucking radar. And they're all just like, perhaps from a side window, he's just on the fucking stage, just like he's tongue down somebody's throat, giving a bit of fucking handful and a hand job to various different people, really wanking them off on this fucking stage. So we've got some information through our trio, which is obviously going to make Morgan quite frightened. I'm actually going to roll for the more spicy information stuff. We're going to roll on the mission stuff, the mission generator tables, to see if we can twist this one way or another. I'm going to start with like the generic mission type just to see if we can get some like deets from them, and then perhaps move over to the corporate high-tech table. That is 63. They came out separately, but I'll take it. Relay message. Okay, I think that's more from Arasaka to then the stuff that we talked about before. That's not really adding much to me, so I'll roll that again. 37. Intercept data transfer. My mind thinks like some sort of software update for the Edgerunner that he's not human anymore, he's a robot. And maybe with this like firmware software thing, like an electoral trip to fucking him, maybe there's something dodgy with his update software. I know that seems like real fucking trivial shit, but it's a prototype. They're still working on it. So maybe if we get access to that information, corrupt the data, he goes to plug that in, it completely fries him from the inside out. Sure, they have all the schematics to build another one, which with our Netrunner we should be able to intercept, put that stuff on the data pool. That would ruin their plans. That's pretty cool. I'm still going to roll on the corporate table to see if we can like grab any more inspiration from that. Because as we know, this is all talking about the alliance ship and like the whole AlphaHound thing. I feel like if I was doing this as a video game, this would be like the secret. Did you know you can kill this really tough character with this really fucking easy method? So that's a valuable exec/tech. Which makes me think that at some point in the night that AlphaHound has been taken away. Like, just to see if nothing's been going on. Like, he will be taken away shortly. And, like, has a specialist person to do the operation, as it were, to put in, like, the new firmware. Like, AlphaHound is Kang Tao's lot, but they're using Arasaka bits and pieces of, like, other Kang Tao weaponry and whatnot. But this fusion of the two worlds, as it were. But obviously, all the heavy lifting is coming from Arasaka at this point. At least that's how we've built things up here. And they're going to be sending somebody over to like implant the like firmware update into him. They now request that people go and protect this tech person to do the operation, as it were, which is cool. How many days from is it now? I'm going to do a D6 roll. If I land on a 1, I'm actually going to say that it's tonight. It's 2, so it's tomorrow. Tomorrow night. Will be able to intercept this executive person, and they give all the bits and pieces of like where it's going to be happening, etc., and so forth, away from people like in a test drivers, I suppose. I have to look after him for the night, and like prevent, you know, him from being harmed, making sure the information's being kept safe, etc., and so forth. So we're not taking out AlphaHound just yet, but we're doing it in a very sneaky way, and I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, I think that's enough to work with here at the moment. But now we move over to somewhere else in the club, and our media is going to be finding other information online and other computers to perhaps upload, because we've sort of done the main bit of investigation with our Netrunner here, and I think there's going to be like some communication between the three of them. Bullet speed just like whispering on the toilet. Okay, I think we've found a way to deal with AlphaHound. Like, there's this chip that's supposed to go in the back of his head that's going to update with the latest firmware. If we get hold of that data chip, I can tinker with the data, upload it to the data pool, essentially turn it out open source, and it'll completely set them back a few years. I'm sure of it. And Jolene TarotGlow is like moving around with their pistols, like, that's some really fucking great work, good job. And they don't hear anything from Butterjoy. It's like, But can you fucking hear us? He's probably got his agent turned... Well, not turned on, but he's not accepting any calls because he's just filming, like, all the tongue kissing and all the rest of it. It's like TarotGlow's probably just being really annoyed against... Oh, I wish he could just fucking listen to us. He's doing the best that he's doing a really good job out there. Like, you can hear how wild the crowd's out there. He's taking this really seriously. Hard cut to him fingering somebody underneath the desk, and he's, like, doing the whole desk thing on the other hand. Like, drinking or whatever. All the rest of it, like having the time of his fucking life. Still only tipsy though. So nothing's gone wrong yet, which is nice. So we've sort of established that AlphaHound is still here, and I think if he's going to encounter anybody, it's going to be Jolene. And I think because we're trying to ascertain, they are looking for information for their client, And it just so happened like the two birds, one stone sort of thing. So I'm going to use some of the adjective tables and the like again to try and work out what's going on. I think. No, I mean, this is a mission generator, isn't it? So we'll use that instead, and then we can flesh that if need be. So the mission type. Yeah, so D100 roll. That is 93, which gives us track down target. Okay, so we're looking. So they're looking for a person. Why? Let's go to the corporate high-tech table and see if that helps us to flesh out this sort of person. 2. Biomedical data. So, a medtech of some description? Why? What's the hook? Referring to the core book here. 5. Kidnapped. Okay, that just got fucking real, didn't it? So, Kang Tao and/or Arasaka have kidnapped a medtech. Okay. This is where I'm going to turn to the adjectives and stuff, because this is fucking, well, this sounds very personal to me. Well, let's do a generic oracle, or a closed question oracle, as it's the proper wording is. Is this personal? And would they know it that's personal? I think they're two separate questions. Is this a person? When I say it's personal, I mean like it's a lover or a friend or something. That level is personal, rather than someone that they don't like. Or are we kidnapping them? No, we're this is a rescue mission. So yeah, is this person like a relationship sort of thing? Because I think that's interesting. I think that's going to be a likely 100 again. Yeah, so yeah, that is a lover sort of thing. Next question: does Bullet Speed know this? Not Bullet Speed. TarotGlow, do they know this? I think that is unlikely, and that is 42, which gives us, funny enough, yes, with a complication. Which makes me think that the Fixer was a lover of TarotGlow's, and we're rescuing their partner. That's the complication we're going to go for. Now I'm going to use some of the other tables, which may feed into the complication a bit, but it may not. It may just be like complication of the situation, or like where to find them, or something just to inspire the brain juices a bit more. So let us use verbs first, and then go through with nouns and adjectives. Free, again. Bluff. Which makes me think of like a conversation. It's like, maybe they split up and they're going after some... The Fixer and TarotGlow split up together. Right? They called upon them for a favour. They're having to rescue somebody who maybe there's something they thought they had a bit of a fling with. That might explain why I've been portraying them as so fucking short and snappy. Even though in the previous thing they're sort of like developing a bit of a friendship sort of thing. Which kind of makes that bit sound a bit more sensical now, I guess. Even though I don't think sensical is a word. Nonsensical is, but... Anyway, let's carry on. Nouns with 52. Grants us input. Medtech. Forced to hire to buy the event to work there, like some sort of like debt or something over their head. I thought the reason why I came to that is like input as like equipment, and then I thought medical equipment, and that made me went back to the medtech sort of thing. And then with adjectives, so that's what they're doing at the moment. So it's not like going to be like gags or whatnot, which is why I thought that was an interesting thing. That nearly fell off the table. 52 again, jagged or jagged. Jagged. I'm not vibing that. What does 25 give us if we swap the numbers around? Psychotic. Next question. Is the X under the condition of cyberpsychosis? I was curious when this was going to pop up in the fucking solo play. But not quite like this, I have to admit. Is the medtech cyberpsychotic, or is like, oh, you want me to go and rescue that cyberpsycho bitch? You know, that sort of level of petty. That could be the twist. That they wasn't Okay, before I think about it anymore, I want to answer that question. Is the medtech an actual cyber psycho? If I'm being honest, I don't think that's likely. So let's just roll that and see what we... I'll count that. That's 70 something. 75. Unlikely is yes, with a complication. So, yes, the medtech is a cyber psycho, which sort of ties into the themes I had. Now, there's a plot twist under the mission generator thing that I saw that I forgot existed. I'm going to roll on that and see what the plot twist is. That is 17. It's under the books I couldn't see. 17 is Cyber Psycho. Max Tech is hunting down a target where the job is. So double the amount of Cyber Psycho, which... That's why it's... so that just adds to a level of the urgency that this Cyber Psycho is a wanted person. And the Fixer didn't tell them that. The Fixer didn't tell them they're a Cyber Psycho. They're hiding in... They're going to be at the club tonight as like hired staff in case anything goes on. But they're being hunted down by MaxTac because in actual fact they're a fucking psychotic killer sort of thing. Like they've gone on the real fucking deep end with things. And I think the fix is like, oh, I can fix her. Wow, that got fucking intense. That got dark. This is why I strongly fucking recommend anybody getting a fucking solo Oracle theme. Even if you don't do solo play. Because this aspect of the mission is like a mission in of itself, like what the two NPCs are doing here. Like, we're just fucking monning out on stage, like getting pissed out our mind. Wow. That is... Which begs the question. Is Max Tack in the facility? Like, in the club? I don't think it makes sense, because from what I have read and seen of Max Tech, they're not exactly known for their subtlety. So I don't think they're going to be like standing there in line sort of thing. I think this is going to be a fucking invasion. With them, Arasaka and Kang Tao, with AlphaHound. I don't think it's likely, but I'm actually going to say it's impossible. But you never fucking know. You never fucking know what the dice will deliver. So let's just go with that. 97 gives us... Yes, they are in the building right now. And because of how close to 100 that is, I'm actually going to say they've been here all fucking night. And more will probably arrive to try and take out the Cyber Psycho. And we don't know any of this. We do not know that the person that we're rescuing is a Cyber Psycho. And she's meant to be, like, fixing, repairing people... And I'm going to hold that thought for a moment because I think we just need to do a simple roll to see if we can get to the location in one piece. Because there's probably like a bit of the club that's been set up for like a first aid sort of thing. Like a emergency clinic sort of thing in case something goes awry to the cops turn up or whatever. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but we're just making do here. Sneaking around. You see, I would make this simple because of like everything that's been going on stage, but I had remembered with the AV that fucking crashed, the security has been bumped up a little bit. But I'm actually just going to make this 11, so it's not too difficult and it's not too easy either. And I did bump up their combat number last time because I thought 6 was just way fucking too low for this person. They seem to be quite an influential individual. 8, yeah, they fucking managed to like sneak about. There are no worries because the whole security camera thing's all queued up. They're sort of looking around. With the perfection element of bullet speed, they're just focusing purely on that conversation, like darting between cameras and whatever. And I think just as they're getting closer to the door, they like flick over to the camera scene and they see this medtech who's like straining people's guts out, like very impromptu connecting bits to like the fucking lighting to see if they can get like the intestines to light up or something. Singing this weird fucking manic tune. Maybe I forget what they're called, but they're not the Warvers, but like the nail versions of them, like splices I think they have. Like just drawing that like just slicing and just cutting people up that way sort of thing. They're about to go into the door. Bullet speed is like no, wait, stop. And as they do that, they turn around and they just see this whole fucking, to use a vampire term, Zamitzi affair. I'm going to roll their contact number, but I'm going to half it to represent their will for a moment, to keep their cool, which is a stat. No, cool is like the whole presentation of it. Actually, Because, you see, I'm thinking of the Game Master. If I presented this to the players, I'd actually have them roll their will and cool for this. Which, if I'm using my character sheet as an example, is 12. So it's not actually that out there. So, fuck that. I'm going to use their combat number and see if they're actually able just to contain this fucking horror that's happening in this room that they were not fucking expecting for. That Bullet Speed was not expecting for. I didn't... this is going to be really fucking difficult. This is going to be difficult. 15... Yeah, they managed to do it. But I think in that instant, this individual is going to attack. Actually, no. What I'm going to do, just to make this a bit more horrifying, because it'd be really fucking simple just for them to go on the attack, but they're Cyber Psycho, they're clearly enjoying this, because there could be an element of this where they just want, look at the pretty thing that I made. So I'm going to determine that with the single-player mode plus DLC, which I do as that because this really should have been in the fucking book, to see if we can... What's there going to be? Their aggression level? So I'm just reading the tables. I actually think I'm going to roll all 3 of them. To determine, like, the mood or whatever. First of all, their competence. Because if they're just completely out of it, like their eyes glitching out or whatever, then they're just a fucking lost cause. And there's no point rolling on the rest of it. So, D10, their competence. That's fucking shocking. 10, brilliant. So... Not only is this a fucking mess and there's clearly like fucking body parts or whatever, but they have essentially like rebuild a fucking person in like the grimmest possible sense. So clearly Arasaka and Kang Tao did not do their fucking homework here. We're going to go up to NPC motivation. I think with the brilliant thing here, it implies that they're wanting to create this fucking masterpiece here. Oh, fucking hell, that was a bit excessive. Let's try that again. 9. A hatred or a desire for revenge. Huh. Hatred or desire for revenge. A hatred for flesh. Maybe this person's a bit more chromed out than I thought they were. Maybe not like Borg's out, but maybe they've got like they've replaced their skin with chrome. It's gonna be like really fucking clean. Like this whole room is a fucking mess with electricity, cables, gear, and like bits of blood and guts. But they are the only clean thing in this room. Like they are crystalline clean. Yeah, that's fucking frightening. But now go to the aggression to see how they react to being walked into with someone that they recognise who probably gave them a fair amount of shit previously. So building a bit more of the backstory stuff here. What do we get here? 5. Neutral. Which is probably the most horrifying thing here. Because, yeah, as I said, it makes more sense. Oh, they're just going to go in the attack mode. But they just turn, like... almost in a mechanical swivel, so it's like perfectly smooth, and they just look down with this eerie smile. Hello, Jolene. How are you? Like their heads are like twitching about like a robot sort of thing. What is this person's name? I think we should probably roll up on the name. Male, female, or non-binary. 1, 2, or 3 on the D3. We'll go for a non-binary name. Sam. So, Sam has gone, hello, how are you? Say, Sam, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they're just going to go and try and shoot. Now, before I shoot, narratively speaking, if I was a games master, I would be a little shit here and introduce Max Tack here to take away some of the glory for them and just to add to the overall chaos. Maybe breaking it up with somebody else's scene. Because I'd have them be moving about, doing their own thing. I'm not even going to fucking roll for Joy, just like the scene if like anybody's following them through the room. Because I think that was like the one thing he was supposed to be doing. And he's just like doing whatever. He's probably having someone sucking him off now. I don't know why I did that, because, you know, as impressive as Joy is, he does not have a cock like that. Oh, let's do a roll for it. I'm joking. So he's failed on that. I'm not even going to roll for that one. Bullet Speed has only noticed this room now, like flicking through, and I think with the flicking, I don't think they would have noticed, like on a different camera or whatever, there's like other people coming up behind them. Do Max Tack arrive now on the scene? I'm going to roll a thing here. Do 50-50. That is 86. which means, yes, Max Tack are about to move into the scene and all hell is going to break loose. Which, honestly, I think is a wonderful place to end the session for today. Which might be a bit annoying because it's a bit of a cliffhanger, which means you've got to tune in for episode 8 of Season 3 of the Playing With Diceself podcast, but I feel this is going to get very hectic very quickly. We're going to have fucking Butterjoy doing something, the Arasaka lot in the room, AlphaHound is going to sprint into action, whatever fucking goons are going to be placed, the Cyber Psycho Medtech. Wow, yeah, this is taken in directions I wasn't expecting for. And of course there's the whole fucking act of getting the fucking chip before it goes into the fucking neck, and obviously the exec's going to be there as well. Oh, whatever. There's so many different details we need to sort out. It's just going to be a fucking huge episode, and it's going to be a pretty big episode anyway, and I'd much rather dedicate the next part to that in its full without having to rush things. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it was a bit more engaging than the romance of previous episode, which was a lot of fun to do, but so was this. This went off in so many weird fucking directions, and again, this is just why I fucking love doing solo play and using systems like this for creating games in a more traditional sense, because you come up with some really weird fucking ideas, things that you wouldn't have possibly have thought of if you did it in a more traditional method of like sitting down and thinking about player backstories, motivations, and the sort of story that you want to tell. So yeah, this is the next session is going to be fucking wild, and as this one wasn't already. Yeah, wow. I wonder if next time will be the last episode if we're able to corrupt that data, shut AlphaHound down. If we're able to fucking survive getting out the fucking club, honestly. Yeah. So yeah, if you've enjoyed me using this, and you've enjoyed a bit of Cyberpunk RED, I'm going to leave a link to every single Cyberpunk book as of the publishing of this episode down in the description below. If you purchase them with the specific links, I get some of the money back because I'm an affiliate and drive through RPG, and it allows me to do more content like this. And again, this is a review copy that was sent over by Artel Games, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm just a bit fucking blown away, honestly, and yeah, tune in next time and see whether we can survive this encounter with two of the largest military organisations, the most fearful of police ops in Night City, and a fucking Borg that I have yet to stat up somehow, and a Cyber Psycho. Yeah, until next time, farewell, Choom. Da 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 da.